Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. A proposal to build a travel center in Big Flats is being met by negative feedback from the community. Spur Park was built in memory of A.J. Spur, a state trooper who lost his life in the line of duty. Now there's a proposal to build a travel center right across from the park. A petition against the proposal has been started on change.org. 2,925 people have already signed that petition. The community is concerned about disturbing the tranquility and affecting families' ability to safely use the park space. Big Fox News will continue to bring you updates on this story. New York City is suing upstate counties, including Chemung, Schuyler, and Tioga. The three counties are among 31 that the city is suing. The lawsuit that was filed with the New York State Supreme Court alleges that the counties shut their borders during a major humanitarian crisis. New York City is currently housing over 40,000 refugees after the expiration of Title 42. Chemung, Schuyler, and Tioga counties declared states of emergencies in May. The counties cited that a large influx of migrant individuals could be a public safety issue. History unfolding in a Miami federal courthouse as former President Trump faced a judge for the first time on charges stemming from his handling of classified documents. Entering a not guilty plea to all counts, the former president did not speak and was stoic during the hearing. Lauren Blanchard is outside the courthouse in Miami with details.
A historic moment as Donald Trump is now the first former president to face a judge on federal charges. Hundreds of Trump supporters turned out loud and in force outside the federal courthouse in Miami, where former President Trump made his first appearance for his handling of classified documents.
I think it's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country.
Facing 37 counts, Mr. Trump surrendered to authorities for his formal arraignment. Marshals taking his fingerprints and uploading an existing photograph which will not be released. At no time was he handcuffed. Facing a magistrate judge, Trump entered a not guilty plea.
They likely waived the formal reading of the indictment. He had counsel present. He entered a plea of not guilty. And at that moment, he demanded what we call you demand trial by jury.
Before heading to court, Mr. Trump took to Truth Social, writing, quote, "One of the saddest days in the history of our country. We are a nation in decline." The former president is charged with violating the Espionage Act, obstruction of justice, willful retention of national security information, and more.
We have seen the rise of politically motivated prosecutors who don't care for impartiality. They have been quietly but aggressively cultivating a two-tiered system of justice.
If convicted on all counts, Trump could face decades in jail and millions in fines. In Miami, Florida, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
The city of Horseheads is beginning its annual hydrant flushing. The village's water department wants residents to know that water may appear discolored in areas where the hydrants are actively being flushed. This discoloration poses no health risks and should clear up within an hour. However, residents should avoid doing laundry while the discoloration is present. For any further info, you can contact the Horseheads Water Department. $350,000 in grant money is now available to Finger Lakes communities. The grants are supported by New York State's Environmental Protection Fund and regulated by the DEC's Finger Lakes Watershed Grant Program. The grants are offered to communities to help restore watersheds and protect water quality. Grant awards range from $25,000 to $50,000. Applicants can apply anytime before 3 p.m. on July 21st. The applications can be found at the website on your screen. Tragedy in Niagara County after a tour boat capsizes, killing at least one person. It happened on the Erie Canal in Lockport. The boat had 28 people on board. Officials say the deceased victim is a male who they believe became trapped under the capsized boat. 11 other passengers were reported to have minor injuries.
Unfortunately, we did have one fatality in the incident. It is believed for a time that he was initially stuck underneath the capsized boat, and it did take some time to get him recovered and back to a safe location. Unfortunately, he had succumbed to his injuries.
Boat tours through the cave system have been running since 1977. The depth of the water ranges anywhere from 4 to 6 feet. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg surveying the site of an overpass collapse on I-95 in Philadelphia today. Officials say the driver of a tractor-trailer hauling thousands of gallons of fuel lost control while trying to navigate a curve Sunday. igniting a fire. Now the highway is expected to be closed in both directions for months. Alexis McAdams has details.
This tragic crash is having an outsized impact on commuters and on goods movement up and down the I-95 corridor.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg visiting the site of that collapsed section of Interstate 95 in Philadelphia, promising to free up federal funds and speed up repairs along one of the nation's busiest highways. Buttigieg warning that shipping costs will likely go up as truckers are forced to reroute and travel longer.
It's a key artery for the movement of people and goods, and that's why it's so important to make sure that it's restored quickly.
Crews already working around the clock to clean up the wreckage after a tanker carrying 8,500 gallons of gasoline crashed into a wall on Sunday, reducing the highway above it to rubble. The American Trucking Association says there could be significant impacts on the supply chain going forward, with the main transportation route now severed for the foreseeable future.
It's very bad, very bad.
Just devastating, honestly. The traffic is already pretty bad because 95 has been under construction for a while.
Terrible, awful.
Authorities confirm they have recovered a body from that crash site, though they've not yet identified the person. Family members say it was Nathaniel Moody, a husband and a father described as an experienced truck driver.
Did he get cut off? Was there something down there that he had to swerve from? You know, anything. But the one thing I can say is that he wasn't a careless driver.
A preliminary report on this incident is expected in the next few weeks.
As AI gets smarter, Congress is trying to keep up with the risks it may pose to Americans. Aisha Hasni has the story.
Artificial intelligence has a voice, and it could sound like someone you love.
Mom, these bad men have me. Help me, help me, help me. She begged and pleaded as the phone was taken from her. A threatening and vulgar man took the call over. Listen here, I have your daughter.
Arizona mom Jennifer DiStefano sharing her story about how scammers used artificial intelligence to manipulate her daughter's voice. At a Senate Judiciary hearing on Tuesday, lawmakers talked about the potential harm AI can have on humans, following an FBI warning about an uptick in sextortion cases, where criminals use the technology to create sexually explicit images that are then used to intimidate victims.
AI is a topic none of us can afford to ignore. It should be treated with the same urgency as national security, job creation, civil liberties.
Industry experts have been urging Congress to act quickly. On Tuesday, senators receiving the first of 3 briefings about how AI is used and its potential dangers. Members say it's a step in the right direction, but they won't be able to come up with a game plan overnight.
Congress is not built for speed. We do things in a deliberative fashion for a reason. So that we don't do anything rash unless we're in an emergency situation.
There has been a flurry of bipartisan bills in recent days. One of them would create a brand new agency to track AI advancements in rival countries like China, but still unclear what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer actually plans to bring to the floor this year. In Washington, I'm Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
Your complete forecast is still ahead. Plus, a look at some of the new first-of-their-kind laws being passed in the United States, addressing issues from book bans to minimum wage guidelines. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Good evening. We continue to work our way into some active weather, which is needed. We had some drier conditions towards the end of May and into early June due to these blocking weather patterns, but those have finally broken down and we're going to be staying a bit more active. But this first burst of really this active weather conditions did allow for some moderate rain showers. We can see where some of those heightened reflectivities are there just south of the Elmira and Binghamton area. Even a few heavier downpours up through the Finger Lakes region where we did bring in some of those accumulations, generally anywhere from about 3/4 of an inch upwards of about 2 inches. Bath just around 1 inch and 3/10. Waverly around 1 inch and 8/10. So that did bring a nice moisture to our soils, and we were able to dry out a little today, bringing in some of that sunshine. So we'll see how that drought index is updated on Thursday, but we will note that we have more rainfall that is going to work its way into the forecast, and some of that is already arriving. We're seeing some showery weather pushing its way in that will be dominating much of our Wednesday, and much of the rest of this work week is going to stay cooler and wet. So stepping out the door, you may want to make sure you have the umbrella, that rain jacket, maybe a nice light layer underneath to keep you warmer, as temperatures will trend a few degrees cooler than normal. So what we're watching though with this cooler and wet weather pattern is that throughout our Wednesday, we actually have a departing low pressure system. What signaled this active weather pattern was actually an included front lifting north as we step throughout our Monday, giving us those moderate rain showers. Now, a low associated with that is what's hanging across the Great Lakes, and that's going to be what's departing through our Wednesday, keeping us showery. And then as that blocking pattern, as mentioned, has broken down, we're quickly staying active with another frontal passage that will come Thursday night into Friday, continuing to bring us some more chances for some moderate rain showers. So staying on our toes with this active weather. Good news, severe threat is extremely low, especially as we see that running into our Wednesday morning. We'll wake up with that showery weather around, and that allows for a very stable atmosphere. There could be maybe some isolated convection into the afternoon hours that could bring a rumble of thunder and maybe a moderate downpour. But again, the severe risk remains extremely low. We'll also get another break from some of the wet weather setting up Thursday morning before that frontal system moves in. So it's not going to be a widespread pattern the whole time. However, Wednesday is definitely going to be more of our widespread cooler day here over the next 48 to 72 hours, where we could be getting upwards of another half an inch of accumulation. So with some saturated soils from Monday and then continuing another round into our Wednesday, might have some isolated flooding concerns. Definitely not our heightened risk, but always note that if you see rushing water, that you do not drive through it. We also have those cooler temperatures setting up. We're looking about 10 degrees below average into those 60s. Now, with that peak of sunshine Thursday morning, that will help out temperatures a bit into those mid 70s, but we quickly have that frontal passage that comes Thursday into Friday, keeping us under some showers and thunderstorms, lower 70s Friday. But the good news is the weekend is looking a bit drier.